Hello, welcome back everyone. It is now July 5th of 2022, and quite a while ago when we got the finale of the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series, a lot of Star Wars fans have been very skeptical about the future of the Star Wars franchise now by Disney and Lucasfilm. However, thankfully, most of it is being done by Jon, George, and Dave Filoni, and meanwhile only 2 Star Wars TV shows are being led by Kathleen Kennedy, that of course being The Acolyte and Skeleton Crew. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one thing about the Star Wars universe is that we have a lot of things happening at the same exact time. Specifically, of course, Hayden Christensen being signed on to a multi-contract deal. So basically, he's got this multi-show contract that's going to allow him to appear in multiple Star Wars shows, such as the continuation of the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series, the Ahsoka Tano show. Eventually, he is set to appear in Andor Season 2 as Darth Vader again. There's a lot of things happening with Hayden in the Star Wars universe as we know it. Now, on top of this is where complications begin to arise in exactly what happened with Kathleen Kennedy, what happened with Hayden Christensen for a specific Star Wars project that a lot of fans haven't really been looking forward to all that much. I mean, let's be honest here, and we'll get into that in just a second. The thing right now about Kathleen Kennedy is that she is getting a lot of flack for what she did with the Kenobi series because she did play a large role in some of the creative calls in what was done with the Kenobi series and also what was done with the marketing of the TV show. I mean, let's not forget about that as well, is that she had a very big hand in the marketing of the Kenobi TV series, and that also led to further problems. Now, on top of all of this, alright, with, of course, the new Star Wars announcements on the horizon that will take place at both D23 and Disney Plus Day, creators Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are beginning to work on The Mandalorian Season 4, as well as other shows in the works right now. However, it's noted that some time ago, originally creator George Lucas was attached to the Acolyte series, and how it had an original take on the story that was being helped by George in the beginning. Now, it's described that one of the original plans that both Lucas and Kennedy agreed on was to have Hayden Christensen appear in the Acolyte TV show in the form of a vision versus, of course, other aspects, but he was going to appear as a vision as Anakin Skywalker. This was going to be a dark vision for Yoda in the new Star Wars TV show that would take place on a strange new world that deeply resembled Ahch-To from The Last Jedi. This was a big plan between both Kennedy and George to include Hayden as Anakin in the series before she eventually fired Hayden and got rid of him from the project not so long ago. This entire scene was supposed to take place toward the end of the show, where Yoda begins to get visions of the future and the Chosen One, and begins to witness an evil version of Anakin Skywalker wielding a red lightsaber this time around. Of course, at this point in time, Yoda had no idea who he was, but for the first time, the Acolyte was going to show fans a possible future of Anakin Skywalker as Darth Vader if he never received the burns on Mustafar. Eventually, Kennedy began to realize that this entire scene served no purpose, and was no longer needed after, of course, Hayden was signed on for the Acolyte for a total of 7 months. She eventually let him go from the series and fired him. However, Hayden was still able to appear in Kenobi and will appear in other shows. This one in particular, however, that he was fired and let go from, some of the co-writers of the show were very upset about Hayden's departure. Now, the thing about this really reminds me of what Stuart Beatty wanted to do, or Stuart Beatty, alright, the original writer of the Kenobi movie trilogy. Basically what Stuart wanted to do was that he wanted Kenobi to fight a dark vision of Luke Skywalker wielding a red lightsaber. In this scenario, something kind of similar, they were going to have Hayden come back in a very lengthy and detailed vision of Darth Vader, who never got the burns on Mustafar, never got any injuries, but placing him in this black out armor that's going to actually have him with a red lightsaber. That was supposed to be the plan, to actually have Hayden come back in the Acolyte show in the form of a vision of Darth Vader if he never got those injuries. Of course, like I say, Yoda did not know who Anakin was in this vision. He just saw the vision and took it as is. That was the overall plan for the Acolyte series when George Lucas was still supervising the project and still had some kind of creative control, with, of course, Kathleen Kennedy before she actually began to do things on her own and gave, of course, Hayden Christensen, unfortunately, the boot from the show. Now, I don't know about you guys, but to me, this sounds like it would have been probably one of the darkest moments in Star Wars history, especially for the character of Anakin Skywalker. I mean, let's not forget about this, that when you look at Star Wars shows out there, I think that when you look at the darker side of Star Wars as a whole, that's where the creators are able to get really, creative, and they can really kind of tap into what they really want to take from Star Wars Legends and take from the Star Wars comics that fall into the real dark and gritty atmosphere. And this definitely was in that, overall department. So, moving from all of this, alright, this is where things begin to pick up a bit, is that the scene was not only going to be very dark, but it was also going to be very full-fledged scene featuring Yoda feeling emerging dark side powers and how it would eventually connect to the rise and fall of Anakin Skywalker without knowing who he is, and how it actually tells the story of him coming, of course, into the dark side of the Force and becoming the Dark Lord of the Sith. The design of Anakin wielded a red lightsaber and had the long hair just as he did in Revenge of the Sith. Lucasfilm creators were also going to be able to de-age Hayden to make him appear just as he did in Revenge of the Sith, except this time around he was going to be wearing blackout armor and a red lightsaber, battling a couple of Jedi Knights. This vision for Yoda was also going to star Frank Oz to voice Yoda during this vision. The Acolyte creators were going to take key moments from the Clone Wars series to make a dark and gritty vision just as it was done with the Darth Bane vision, and use that as inspiration. Another reason Kathleen let go of Hayden from the show had to do with the fact that she believed it would only again cause to take away attention from some of the new characters that she was creating for the Acolyte TV series. Now, once again, this is a very big and prime example of how, when you look at somebody like Kathleen Kennedy, she never really cares about the fans at the end of the day, never really cares about the actors coming on board, or the creators. I mean, this is typical Kathleen Kennedy behavior. She either fires people, she either changes storylines, or changes projects. Look at what happened with the David Benioff and D.B. Weiss trilogy. They fell into creative differences, and they were pretty much forced to leave. They couldn't handle Kathleen Kennedy anymore. So that's another reason usually. Sometimes people just can't stand Kathleen Kennedy anymore. But in this scenario, Hayden did not deserve this. He did not deserve to be let go from the Acolyte series, because this, I believe, would have been very much by far one of the biggest moments in Star Wars history. It could have given fans an alternate view of Darth Vader, a very different side of the character that we would have never have seen before in live action form. And to be honest, this really had a lot of potential to really kickstart the Acolyte TV series. Now, in case you guys did not know, they are doing something similar just like this with other characters like Darth Revan, Darth Nihilus, etc., etc. That is going to be happening now, and that was replaced with the whole Anakin Skywalker scene. So it's going to be a little bit, on edge, knowing that Kathleen Kennedy is handling those characters. But overall, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you guys have to say about this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you also very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.